Welcome to this episode of Does That Make Sense? What are we talking about today, Antoinette?
We're going to talk about, does time heal?
Does time heal all wounds? I think that's like you've got to think about this one, haven't you?
Yeah, look, I've recently had an experience which really set off some triggers, and I just thought, does time really heal? No, I completely disagree.
So what do you think happens?
Look, honestly, when it was referenced that time heals all wounds, I thought about it. I really did, and I thought, well, no, it doesn't, because time is just space and it creates distance, and I actually think that time makes things more difficult. So pain or whatever it may be that you have gone through previously, that's still there. It just means that you're not acknowledging it, or you're not facing it.
You're not dwelling on it?
Well, I don't even know you are, because I mean, I know from experiences of where people have very old wounds, whether it be childhood or past relationships, that they haven't had that proper closure, and they have used the analogy that time heals and let's create distance and we won't talk. That in years to come, they are still talking about that same problem. So time in effect really didn't heal it. It was still there.
I guess the thing is that time actually gives you a bit of distance from the situation and enables you to get a different perspective sometimes.
You think?
I think so, because I think, when you're right in the middle of the
fire. I think that time allows you not to be angry, so it allows you to calm the farm, so to speak.
Calm the farm. I haven't heard that one.
That's my saying. Calm the farm.
Okay.
So it allows you to calm down, step back and have a good look at it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that cutting off ties or removing yourself completely from something doesn't necessarily heal what's going on.
But it may be the only way someone can deal with the situation.
This is why psychiatrists and therapists make a lot of money. Because time,
especially now, because they get they're getting sort of, you can go and get sort of free counselling, or go to your doctor and sort of,
Yeah.
So
look, and I'm going to make reference from my childhood. I grew up with my father that was at the best of times unpleasant, and there were periods of time where I didn't speak to him or didn't see him, and I refused to, because I was angry and didn't understand and all of the above, but that didn't heal, and when he got old, it wasn't until then that I thought, I need to make peace with that, because my old wounds over a period of time still didn't heal. I didn't heal until I was able to sit down with him and talk to him and have some level of understanding. Now, I'm not saying that I forgive, and I'm not saying that I give permission for past behaviours, but I have healed past wounds by facing that and trying to gain some sort of understanding. And he apologised in the end. He said sorry for all of his wrongdoings, etc., etc. And that's what healed.
So you think you do need to get closure? Is that what you're...
Yeah, well, I don't think that you need closure. I just think that if there is a wound, you can't just mask it. You can't put a Band-Aid on it and pretend it's going to go away. There's always a scar. And if you don't deal with that scar, it's going to come back.
And maybe it just depends on how much it's really active in your sort of, in your life or in your subconscious. I mean, so yeah, I agree. Sometimes maybe you need to bring something out if it's causing conflict with future relationships. But if it's really not bothering you, and you're getting on with your life, do you really need to go back and...
Yes, I do.
Even if it's not bothering you?
I even know people that have had, and it always seems to be with family or relationships. This is always a similar dynamic. And I've had people that have had family upsets and there's been a time of separation. And the person that has separated from that because time heals has carried it forward. So it's like a monkey on their back. So they're carrying it forward throughout their life. And I know that because they're speaking to me about it.
Right.
If there wasn't a problem, if people move forward without that monkey on their back, because time apparently heals, then why are they still carrying it with them? So, and it wasn't until they had some sort of level of understanding, or they stopped being angry, really, and paused for a moment and tried to gain perspective, that they reconnected. I'm not saying that they were really close again or anything like that, but they reconnected, and that actually has healed them. So now they're moving through life a lot more content and happier within, because that's what's healed, not time. Time has just put that gap, that space in between, but you haven't resolved your issues, your problems.
So do you need to do that with a person, or should you get therapy? What are you advocating here?
Well, I think that if you need therapy, 100%, absolutely. And sometimes you might not be in a situation of where you're wanting to, it might be a really bad situation of where you don't ever want to be involved in that situation again because it's harmful or dangerous or
maybe you're just not getting anywhere with the person.
Yeah, story of my life. Story of my life.
Yeah. And there is this technique called tapping, and I'm not sure about tap dancing, but EFT that you can do, and that tapping can actually release things. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
You have told me about tapping before,
yes,
and it's quite interesting. So
yes.
You literally are tapping your head.
You're tapping sort of different points.
Pressure points.
Well, they are pressure points, but they're called, what do they call, they're like a Reiki point, those points, like a point to your head.
No, but that's not a chakra on your cheek.
No, they're actually sort of different points.
But I still don't think that will heal. I don't think that. I think the only thing that ever really heals is acceptance, love, understanding, compassion.
Sure, absolutely.
Because once you release that anger or past issues, you actually genuinely release them, not by tapping away.
Sorry to everyone that does do tapping.
I think
but tapping can be useful if you're holding on to something that's really that you can't forgive.
Yeah.
And that you really, and it's not in a sense saying that you should forgive them. It's for what they did, but it's just letting it go for yourself. So forgiving something for yourself.
Which I understand, but with my argument of time heals, because, as I said, this has been a recent thing for me, and I looked at it and I thought, what? No, it actually doesn't. I look at it that you always hear about people having a lot of regret. So if there has been something that has been traumatic,
and you're estranged from someone,
or if you're estranged from somebody, and all of a sudden, because time is in the equation, you just don't. It makes it difficult to sort of pick up the phone and say, "Hey, let's work through this." The more time that is involved, it makes it a bit more harder because of, I suppose, people's ego. People just don't know how to talk to people or don't know how to make that reconnect.
You're more someone that wants to confront things and deal with things. So some people like to perhaps not confront things and do things in a more passive way.
Yeah, but it's not confrontational in the sense of aggression.
No,
it's trying to gain some sort of a level of understanding. But, I do look at things of, when people even pass away, people wish that they had the time to say all the things that they needed to say because they didn't do that when they were alive.
Yes.
Or they walk around with another set of regrets or another set of issues because time wasn't on their side. Do you get what I mean? Does
I
that
do
make
understand
sense?
what you're saying, but I'm just still think that, you know, sometimes I think the reference is to just giving it a bit of time to gain perspective and be able to sort of, you know.
I agree, and I think that if people do take the time to calm the farm and not be so angry or...
Yeah, I think anger's just, it's not going to get you anywhere.
No, it's not. So if people calm the farm and they take a
Calm
step
the
back...
farm.
I know. Don't you love it? If they take a step back and have a good look at the situation, but then make the proactive approach to say, let's try and mend something, or let's try and talk about it. And they can only do what they can do. The other person is obviously free will. So you can't force another person to talk to you by any means. And if they don't want the disconnect, or sorry, if they don't want to connect again, then...
What do you do then?
See a therapist.
What was that?
See a therapist.
See a therapist.
See a therapist. But at least you know within yourself that you've tried.
Yes.
And I think that's healing within itself. I think that if you know that you've tried everything that you possibly could, then that's the best you can do, yeah?
Absolutely.
You think?
I think so, but I just also think that some people deal with things differently. So some people are more able to confront and deal with things and communicate, and others like to maybe just withdraw.
Maybe write a letter.
Maybe write a letter. Write a letter and burn it in the backyard.
You know what? I have done that.
I bet you have.
I have actually...
I can see you doing that.
I have written letters before.
How many are we talking?
Oh, geez, I don't know. Like, not many.
Yeah.
But I have done that. I've written letters and burnt them in the backyard.
That's because you've just got nearly every planet in Scorpio, so there's like... there's betrayals going on left, right, centre. And what will you exactly burn?
I would just write down...
Are we talking boyfriends here that had done the wrong thing?
No, probably. It was many, many, many moons ago.
Right.
If you can't express or communicate with another person, the next best option, other than a therapist, is
Burning a letter under the full moon.
I didn't say full moon. Who said full moon?
Just picturing it.
Yeah, oh, that's not a good sight. It's, you know, journaling is a really good way to release. So at least if you are saying what you need to say, and whether you're burning it, I always think that try and send it. I'm a person that, you know, the world's full of rainbows and unicorns. So I want everybody to make amends and be happy.
Right.
And
That's nice.
And I know that there is it's a lot of people that have gone through experiences that is not so nice, and that's okay. I get it. And I'd be the first person to say, no, keep away from that. And I would never, ever tell anybody to put themselves in a situation that's really damaging or dangerous or confronting or anything like that. But, you know, I am rainbows and unicorns.
Yeah.
And I think that the vast majority of people, it's just poor communication.
And some people aren't easy to communicate with.
No. But
Or
that's
some
because of
people
their
don't know
own-
how to communicate, so...
No, exactly.
Are we talking the male species here, or
I'm talking about...
generally speaking? No, but I mean, some people are not easy to communicate with.
And that's why if you can't communicate with them verbally, and in this day and age, texting, you get ghosted. Writing a letter. Just
Yes.
write a letter. At least you are expressing your perspective, your point of view. How that's received is completely different.
Yeah.
You know, you've got no control over that. But I can guarantee you, the person that hasn't done that sort of healing on themselves and done what they needed to do with it, they need to get some closure or understanding or say sorry or owning their mistakes or whatever it may be. I think that's, at least you can do that and you're not walking around with a monkey on your back.
True.
Do you want a monkey on your back?
I'm a monkey in Chinese sign, so I'm not sure.
I think I'm a tiger. Maybe I'm a dog.
There you go, Scorpio tiger. No wonder you're burning things in the backyard.
Haven't you burnt anything in the backyard?
I think I have.
Yeah. Like, but it's good. It's a form of release.
Cathartic, yes. As long as you don't burn your fingers, hold it with something.
No, I just throw it on the grass.
Oh, you throw it on the grass.
Just make sure it's not dry
I'm
grass.
going to go and check the backyard. Your backyard's probably going to have a lot of burn marks, I reckon. And a few holes we've been digging in something.
But it is therapeutic because at least you feel like you're releasing and you're not containing it. Or even speak to a friend, or if somebody's not on the receiving end, there's not much you can do about that. But, going back to the topic, time heals. I really don't think that time does heal. I think that time just creates distance and makes things more difficult. I think that trying to gain some understanding.
Yeah.
And accepting, just accepting things for what they are, I guess. And doing the best that you can because, you want to be the best version of yourself, don't you?
Absolutely.
Time heals in the sense of if it's a situation of where it's grief, for instance, a loss of a loved one, time heals to the extent of where it makes life bearable. So you are forced to move on and just go through life. But I don't think that it heals or recovers any pain or suffering because all you need to do is remember an anniversary or remember something and that pain comes back. So it essentially doesn't heal. You just accept. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. Healing can also come in other ways. You might do art therapy, you might do all sorts of things to get healing.
Burning things in the backyard.
Yours is burning things in the backyard, but you are a Scorpio, so...
you know what I do?
What?
If I remember when I was younger in previous relationships, if I'd broke up with a boyfriend, I'd literally destroy any evidence that they existed in my life. I don't even have photos of ex-boyfriends.
Okay.
How's that?
Right. So
you
really purge. It's like it's all gone. You're gone, 100%. It's a full. You're fully out.
Yeah, I don't have any photos.
That's kind of
any
sad.
memory. It's nothing. They're just.
They're dead.
In my mind. Not exactly.
They might as well be.
But there's no evidence of them.
There's no evidence.
No. Nothing. Zero. Absolutely.
So the FBI turn up, there's no evidence.
That's what I was really burning in the backyard.
Yeah, I know. I'm worrying about
all
that.
All the photos, all the memories.
Burying in the backyard, more to the point.
Start digging. But ways of healing. Okay, so if time is not allowing you to heal like you would like, and you can't communicate or express yourself to somebody because they're just not reciprocating, or they're arseholes, plain and simple, or they're just really ugly people and you don't even want to be in it.
Or they're a narcissist.
Yeah, or you come from a situation of where it's been dangerous and you cannot by any means be involved in a situation that's going to put you in harm's way, whether it be physically, mentally, emotionally, whatever. So there are other ways. So tapping. Can we go back to tapping, Amanda?
I will tell you what tapping is.
Did you say it was ESP?
So it's EFT, and it stands for Emotional Freedom Technique. And it's actually a form of, you're tapping, and it's almost like an alternative, the acupuncture spots. That's what you're actually tapping. So.
Oh, acupuncture spots.
Yeah. So, and it's also considered neuro-linguistic programming because NLP for people that do that, where it's like you're actually saying the issue, but you're tapping at the same time. So you might actually be saying what's happened, the situation, and you're tapping at the same time. If you put it on YouTube, you'll find people doing it and they show you how to do it. And you can tap lots of things like to get over them.
So do you Google Fred Astaire?
I don't even know. It's no wonder you even know that name.
Tapping away. Okay. Yeah. And so you've tapped before, have you done?
I have. I've done tapping to get over lots of different things.
Oh.
And you can get over, to get over blocks you have with different things. You can tap for just about anything.
Okay.
You can tap for money if you want money. You can tap for, I don't know, they have it for every single topic you can think of. You just have to type it in, EFT, and then whatever the situation is. Forgiveness, for example. Self-forgiveness, maybe you need to forgive yourself, something that you did, or maybe you need to forgive somebody else. You type it into YouTube, it'll come up, or Google it, you'll find there's so many different ones talking about different topics.
Okay.
I find it quite good.
You find it quite good?
Yeah, it's worked for me.
Worked for you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like just like burning stuff in the backyard.
Yeah, you've got to do what works for you. That's what the thing is. There's
Removing
no hard
any
and fast.
shred of evidence of any previous partnership in my life.
That's right.
Is gone up in smoke, literally.
Well, that's your way.
That is my way.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's my philosophy on time heals, and it was a trigger for me, as I said, because when I said. Asked the question and somebody said to me, time heals everything, and I thought, no, I actually don't think that time heals everything. I think that it creates distance, but you're still carrying that issue, that problem, that regret. There are so many people that I even know that they regret things. I wish I had have done. I wish I did.
I don't think there's any wrong mistake, though. You got to where you got to, so...
Yeah, no. And I respect that sometimes it's an impossibility that you can't get that closure. But yes, I'm Scorpio.
You don't want to live with regrets.
Oh, God, no. No.
You'd rather burn them in the backyard.
Exactly. But, I would love to hear what other people's views are, if they've got any, on methods, or if they agree with me, or they think that I'm talking a whole lot of crap. But that's my views.
Yeah, well, look, I think you've got to do whatever you can do to move on and have a happy life.
Yeah, regardless of what it is.
Yeah.
If you haven't healed old wounds...
You may be just drawing in that again and
Precisely.
again and again.
Exactly. And you're carrying it with you. And any time a situation that even resembles slightly or is a trigger, because you haven't dealt with it,
Yes.
because time doesn't heal, might rear its ugly little head again.
Yes.
That's
And you
my
can
view.
blame your mum and your dad as much as you want until you become a parent, and then you think, oh no, someone else is going to be blaming me.
Well, exactly. And
And you're already starting to feel guilty.
No, yeah, exactly. I feel like I'm so much like my parent. You are the master of your own life. You are the controller. You are holding the steering wheel.
The creator.
Yep. And you make those choices. Yeah.
So I would definitely recommend I think if you can't get past something, try Googling and looking up EFT, because I think that works.
Yes, or
go to the gym. Go walking in nature.
yes, or go through your photo album and burn every photo that you've got.
Every photo.
Anyway, what's your thoughts? Does time heal? Has it healed you? Or if not, what has healed you?
I'd love to hear about that.
Yeah, definitely. And stay tuned. I think is that a wrap?
That's a wrap.
For this episode?
That's a wrap for this episode.
It's a wrap. I have a lot of diary entries that I'm preparing to create a bonfire in the backyard as we speak. No. Joke.
So that's a wrap for this week's episode of Does That Make Sense? On the topic of, does time heal?
No.
Well, no, it doesn't heal. Time does not heal all wounds.
Don't forget to check out our socials.
Absolutely.
All the details are below.
And we'll have another riveting episode coming up for you.
Next week.
Check you then.